Hey guys, another Saturday, third weekend working on the van, and I've realized that I come across way too serious on the on the videos. I think I'm just worried that I'm not explaining things right, but I'm just gonna try and keep it light. I've got some cables finally, although I couldn't find red. I could find the black cable, couldn't find red anywhere in the diameters, the sections that I needed. So sorry, keep looking at the monitor that's on top of the camera. I should be looking at the lens, sorry about that. But I did get gray cable, so I'll be using black and gray, and I'll just use red heat shrink or red electrical tape to label the positive wires, which will be, for the big gauges, will be the gray one. For now, before I get started on that, and because I've got other stuff to do today, Saturday, I'm gonna crack on with making a new one of these out of acrylic. I'm gonna rough cut the shape, the outline that I have in the bandsaw, and then I'm gonna use a router to trim the shape from the original panel, not this one. This is junk. This is just awful. I have taken all the measurements. I will do a presentation maybe at the end of this video or the end of the next one, which is gonna be quite boring, but some people might be interested in it, but I'll leave that to the end of the video. So if you don't want to see that, you can just get to the end, and not that you'll be here after the first 3 minutes, but if you are and you get to the end, and if you want to see, just how to go about sizing the cables, the sections or the gauges, the fuses, all of that for each of the loads or the camping loads that are going to be in the van, I'm going to do another type of presentation with exactly all of the gauges, the wires, what's connecting to what and why. Again, might be of interest to you, might not. Yeah, the 3D printer is going at the minute. I just use a piece of A4 sheet to put behind that little trellis structure that you saw in the last video, where I want to make the plate to mount all of the electrical components, the bus bars and whatnot. That's printing currently. You'll see it probably on screen. I did screen record me designing it, this piece, and also the piece that I will then, after I have the rough outline, I'm gonna use my tiny little CNC to get out the grill for the fan right into the acrylic instead of bolting on the grill. And also the rectangular cutout, which is quite fiddly to do with a jigsaw. I'm just going to use the CNC to make a rectangular cutout for the battery display control panel and a couple of switches for the fan and for the cabinet lights. That should be good. I've also made, and I know who's going to be happy about this, to replace the temporary labels that I've got now, that I've just paper. Proper hard wearing labels that I've made. I'm not quite sure you can see it, but you'll see it then when I put them in place. I just cut them out on a little plotter that I have. And yeah, that's it. Let's get cracking with the maybe CNCing the control panel, cutting it out, finish 3D printing the parts, and hopefully tomorrow I can show you the results of all of that, and start putting new stuff in, because I think that's going to be the exciting bit, is actually starting to put new cables in, how I do it, why I do it, and again, for my own reference, because it's really important. So let's get cracking. Okay, I think that went reasonably well. You will have seen some time-lapse GoPro stuff that I was doing out in the shed. So I just cut, this would be roughly, this is just an old scrap of acrylic I had. It's roughly the size I'd like for the plate to mount the components to. It's a bit short, it should be 39 centimeters, it's like 32, but it at least give me an idea of how I can mount stuff until I get a bigger plate and in a better condition. But I just cut it to the right height on the table saw. That's done. And then that was the first, using the original panel, just rough cut the shape, the cutout on the bandsaw, and then trying to, and thank you to Stuart for this idea. I keep looking at the monitor, sorry. Using a trim bit on a router to cut out the shape from the original panel. And yeah, it just gives you a much better finish. I would have done it, my CNC is not big enough for this, so it's really small, as you can tell. So already heaps better than this. Fits perfect, I've just tested it. And I won't have time today, but tomorrow this is going on the CNC. This is a grill that I had printed for the fan if I just had opened just a circle here, a circular hole, but it's going to be roughly like this, going to be CNC'd out, cut out, and along with a couple of holes on the CNC. That's done as well. Tomorrow, well, you will see in the meantime, hopefully some CNC footage and future Zico talking you through the process, which may or may not be interesting. 3D printed parts for the trellis to hold this. So this will be roughly like this, as you can see, with 3 of these holding this plate onto the van frame, the trellis structure. I'm not sure you can see it. So, and this will, with this other piece, will clamp on, bolt on to the structure without making any holes, anything. Just use the existing triangle, the trellis structure that's there, clamp on, 3 screws. I've got captive nuts on there, also inside of here. Yeah, I'm still missing 2 here. Still have to put a couple more here. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but again, when I'm putting this in place, you will see it. So yeah, I'm happy with this. Might be a bit of overcomplicating things, but again, it all comes from not wanting to poke holes or screw stuff in to the original panels or structure. So this is completely non-destructive. It just clamps on, one from the back, one from the front, and gives me a vertical flat surface. Because its trellis structure is around 40 degrees. Where to mount this, it's going to be 3 of these, and should be sturdy enough to hold whatever needs to be held here. So yeah, hopefully now you'll get to see some CNC footage, but that's going to be Sunday. It's already 5 o'clock. Gotta get a little workout in, and we're gonna have some dinner with friends. So that's it for today. Well, see you later. Good morning, Sunday, and let's kick things off mellow. So we're here at my very small and cheap tabletop CNC, and to cut out the openings that I need in this control panel, which is going to be the grill fan, the fan grill, a couple of buttons, and the rectangular opening for the battery control panel display as well. It's just gonna go on here. I'm gonna get a reference point, which I have, which is the center of the fan grill. That's gonna be my 0, and then get out all the rest from there. And while that is going, I've got a bag of screws and nuts to put on the completed 3D printed parts. I need to get all the nuts here and these captive, sure how well you can see that. If it's focusing on my face, well, sorry for that. Let's get it. That's it, just cover my face. So the nuts go on there, so the screws have something to screw onto. I need to put them in all six of the printed parts. And by then, if the CNC is still going, I'll start sorting out the cables as well, because hopefully I can still run some cables today after this is completed. So roll the time lapse. So that backfired. That didn't go very well. This was the piece that I was cutting, as you can see, this shouldn't be here. The CNC, just one of the little pieces came loose as it was cutting, and it snagged on the spindle, skipped some steps, and lost its coordinates and started cutting wrong. So joy of joys, I'm gonna have to redo this panel. So start over from scratch. I did, in the meantime, if you just bear with me, install the 3D printed parts, and those seem like they're okay. Not sure how well you can see that, but the plate will bolt on there. And yeah, now I just have to cut another one of those, start over, and hopefully still get some wiring done today. I'm not sure. You'll find out throughout the rest of the video, but it might just be me cutting out a new panel or something. I'm not sure. So it's Monday night, as you might be able to tell from the different t-shirt. Sunday got away from me. I was busy, had to go and do some work-related stuff, and having that setback of having to cut a new panel, which is cut out. I still have to run it through the CNC again. I'll do that maybe during the week if I get a little bit to do it. In the meantime, I have started to figure out the layout of the components on the, that fell off, on the plate, which is clear, so I'm not sure how well you can see that, but yeah, this is just a dismantled bus bar. This one is going to go like so. The negative one will go on the other side, and then the rest of the big fuses and the components will go in the middle. Something along those lines. I've not sealed every detail yet, but I'm happy that I think it's going to fit everything that I needed to fit, which was also a concern because it's a quite a small tight space. But yeah, so maybe this is episode 2.5. I don't know. More of an update and some techie stuff with the CNC and the 3D printing, which again, I'm gonna have to resort to print a new of these pieces, just a terminal that I'm gonna use instead of a actual fuse holder, because the fuse holder is gigantic compared to this. So yeah, it's a lot of scratching your head and shuffling things around, and is this gonna work? So, and sorry if these episodes haven't been riveting. It doesn't help that I'm a bit camera awkward, that I don't plan any of this or script any of this. I just try and get things done, and I record the bits I feel are important to me for future reference. But hopefully, all of this figuring stuff out and getting everything ready and getting the plate assembled outside of the van and getting the cables and getting the crimping terminals and all of the supplies and planning it as much as I can now means that the next few episodes, which is actually going to be putting stuff in finally, because it's less than a month now to get it ready, should be quicker, I hope, unless some obstacle or problem presents itself, but hopefully it is quick and more interesting as well. So if you have any questions, comments, if you have any better ideas as to the way I'm doing things, please let me know. It would be a great help. And if you want further details, I'm not sure it's going to be in this video, what I mentioned about the calculations, what's involved in sizing the cables, and why I'm making these choices, or even the battery storage capacity calculations that you might find interesting or not, or just boring. But I'll put them in the end of one of these videos, and if you find them interesting, you can just keep watching. If not, you can just close the video and do away with me. So yeah, if you're still there, thanks for watching. See you next time.